Hey, this is Joel with the Traveler Toolkit, and today you find me at the base of a rather large hill. I'm preparing to do a hike, or should I say, a time trial that's going to be a test of a product that is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Even though it looks like something from Star Trek, it's definitely something that's here and now in the market today. It's called the Hypershell X Pro, and it's the world's first outdoor exoskeleton. It is a device that you wear around your hips and legs that will allow you to get up to 40% more efficiency out of your own movement. And I look at this and think this device, if it works, could help people who are elderly, people who have physical impairments, people who are just not in the best shape, get out there and see things that they would otherwise not be able to see. And so today I'm going to be putting on my very own time trial where I will test myself against myself wearing the Hypershell and not wearing the Hypershell to see just how much it improves my movement, and I'll give you real-time feedback on how much easier it made my hike. Then we'll head back to the shop, we'll take a look at this device, all the features, the Bluetooth connectivity, the AI-driven insights that help it make all these nano movements, and we'll see if it's worth your time and money. So let's get to it. All right, so this is what it looks like on my body. And even though I'm far from a model, I'm the best you've got today. So the Hypershell straps around your waist, and it's got a lot of padding around this waist pad, adjustable straps on the front, and then you have two straps on your thighs down just above your knees. You strap these on here. They also have pads, and essentially the device, from what I've gathered, helps you what feels like lift your legs most. It helps you with this motion. You'll see there's a hinge right here. It's lifting here, and there's several different modes which we'll go over once we get into it, but your battery is right here, and it does come with two batteries, and they are pretty sizable, chargeable via USB-C, so we'll see how long they last. We get all that information in the app, but this is essentially what it looks like on the body, and I'll show you what it looks like folded up when we get back to the shop, but this is what we're working with. All right, this is the control of our test. I've got my camera here, got a camera that's gonna follow me here. I have my Apple Watch so we know all the stats about this hike. I'm gonna be doing this portion with no Hypershell, and then I'll do it with the Hypershell to see if there's any increase in performance as well as feel to me. So let's start out by doing our control here. Let's hit go, ready, 1, and we're off. Now, of course, we're starting with the flat bottom, but we do have some sizable hills to go up. One up and then obviously one down as we're moving around the trail. It's a beautiful day for a hike. About 65 degrees today, and the ground is still a little soggy, so hopefully that's not a factor. Here's our first hill. Ugh. This is pretty steep. Breathing is still pretty good. All right, we're almost to the top of the hill. Still a little bit of climb. Then we'll see a sharp descent down. All right, now I'm breathing a little heavy. Here we go, we're going down now. This is always the easy part. A little muddy here. Nearing the end. And I'll clock it right here. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is total time, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Total distance, 0.15 of a mile. Average pace, 1735. Average heart rate was 143. And yeah, elevation gain, 50 feet. That is all super helpful information, but I also just want to add from my perspective that I would call that a moderate hike. It wasn't super easy because of the elevation gain, but it wasn't overly difficult. So I'm going to call that moderate level hiking. Now let's throw on the Hypershell X Pro and see if this is any easier and or faster. All right, here it is in all its glory. I'm going to put it on around my waist first. I've already preset this up for myself. Then each leg. Nice and tight. There we go. Make any adjustments. Pull tight. We are ready to go. And I also want to say that I have already downloaded the Hypershell app that has all the information on it. So if I turn my Hypershell on, it will recognize and sync connected. There we go. It will tell me what mode I'm in, what kind of output I'm going for. Even adaptive motion recognition, it will recognize what I'm doing, or I can set it so I can do walking or uphill or downhill. It just has some kind of AI magic that figures it out. Along with up top here, I'm getting my battery level, how many miles I have left on my charge, and it will even give me stats on my walks as I do them. So it'll have some stats later, battery, all kinds of good stuff. So let's go ahead and set this to, we're going racing mode. Let's go hyper. Ooh, and let's turn it up to, not to 50, not to 100. Let's turn it up to 100, and then let's just let it recognize on its own adaptive motion. So let's try this out and see how it does. Okay, so we are in the exact same spot, exact same setup. I am wearing the Hypershell this time. I have it cranked all the way up on hyper. I've got my watch ready, so let's go. 2, 1, let's go. Oh boy, oh boy. I already noticed that it's lifting my legs for me. I think that's what it's doing. It's maybe lifting my legs off the ground more than I would normally lift them, but it's definitely doing a lot. Holy smokes. There's not an adjective to describe what I'm feeling. I'm certain that I look a little funny. Now, granted, we are set in hyper mode, so we are set to be a little ridiculous, but we're trying to prove a point, and that point is going to show itself on this first hill. Let's take it. Ready? Here we go. Oh, wow. That does. Okay. I feel it on the hill climb. Maybe it was a hindrance on flat walking, like it wanted to lift my legs higher than I needed them, but on a hill, it was like, I don't know, kind of like riding an e-bike without an e-bike. We're at the top of the hill now. One thing's for sure, it's working on my legs, not my lungs. Oh, I can't describe it, but it's doing something on the downhill. I don't know what that is, but maybe shock absorption? I don't know. We're coming to the end here. This has to be faster. And stop. So this is kind of what I expected. It's about the same time. Almost the exact same distance, obviously. We ran the same track. Pace, pretty much the same. Calories burned, that's not going to change. My average heart rate actually went up because it was pushing me a little faster. So I was up at 163 BPM, which I also walked this one right after walking the first one and maybe didn't give myself enough rest. Elevation gain, about the same because we did the same course, but not much difference in the actual time. It didn't make me faster, but there were parts of that that were less exhausting. Okay, I want to take this adaptive motion recognition off and try uphill specifically, and then I'm going to go back to eco mode instead of hyper, and let's do like 75% eco mode to see what that looks like. We'll go up and down this hill a few times and see what that feels like, because I feel like that's where this thing is going to shine the most, is helping you climb hills that would be really hard without it. All right, so here we go up the hill we just came down. We technically haven't climbed this one yet. Yeah, there's a lot of lift coming up the hill, and we're back in eco mode. Marching straight uphill is probably where this device shines. And it's hard to quantify, but I'm talking pretty normally coming up the hill, so not bad. Now, I'll also say that in eco mode, the flats are more comfortable. I don't feel it like pulling my legs up. So before, felt like it was pulling my legs. Now it feels like it's going with my legs, if that makes sense. But still feels like a gentle pull, like it's gently pulling me along. Okay, now because I'm curious, I want to do something that really only Tom Cruise should do on film, and that is run, because I really think it would be most helpful when running. Let's go back to hyper. Why not? Let's keep it at 100. Let's see what this thing can do in hyper mode when you're running. I don't know. Now that was interesting. I don't know how funny it looked for you, but that made jogging really easy. Like, it just felt like I was gliding as I was running. I can't quantify that in any way and say, well, it's 20% easier, but it's definitely easier. And even though I have something strapped to my body, it felt like it compensated for that a little bit better and more, to where it just made it easy. Now, would I wear this out jogging? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I definitely think from a hiking perspective, the ability it gives you to just enhance your natural ability is unlike anything that I've ever worn or tried before. It's a pretty interesting proposition for those people that just need a little extra help to get out there and do something. If it's the difference between hiking and not hiking, then it's a great idea. If it's the difference of like 15% or 20% better performance, then it might be worth it to you. But I am telling you, I do feel a difference on hills specifically and on running. Anything where lifting your legs is an issue, this is really going to help. On an average walk, it's a more nominal assistance, but when you're doing something a little more exerting, like running or climbing a hill, you notice it way more. Now let's head back up to the shop. I'll take this thing off and we'll take a closer look at it and everything that comes with it. All right, now after all that testing, it's time to take a close look at the Hypershell X Pro. And the first thing I want to point out is that it comes with this crazy James Bond looking case. It's like a high density foam, but it opens up like it's some kind of secret weapon. I don't know. To me, that's just a really cool way. It's not that heavy of a case. It's just kind of foam, but I thought that was a lot of fun. And inside is the unit. It's molded to the unit, so you can easily take it with you wherever you go. So the first thing I want to point out is that it comes with 2 batteries. Now, it's really hard to estimate how long a battery is going to last because that has to do with how you use an item. That's always a consideration, but these are pretty long-lasting batteries. We were out there for about 45 minutes running and testing and playing with this thing, and I didn't even deplete 25 to 30% of that battery. So you know it's got a long life ahead of it. Here is the second battery, and they mount to the back of the unit. I'll go ahead and pull it out and show you. This is the battery right here along the hip. And I did notice that they're a little difficult to get out. You kind of press it and push down. And I would honestly rather the battery for something like this be harder to get out than easier because you don't want it falling out. But there you go. You have these clips. They go into these rods here, and then it just kind of firmly clicks in there at the end. But you just press it back up in there evenly all the way up and click there at the end. So there's your battery. And I want to go ahead and get rid of this case and show you the quality of the finishes on the Hypershell. And that's just a closer look at the case itself. Got these nice little clips on the bottom. Click them in there. A nice little handle. That's pretty fun. Okay, so down to the unit itself. What you couldn't see out there while we were testing is the amount of padding that's on this waistband. I think that's important because this doesn't weigh nothing. It weighs something, and you know that you're wearing it. So you need some padding around the belt. So you have ample padding around the back here and the sides, a bigger buckle across the front, which of course you want to pay attention to, and the app does guide you through fitting this to yourself. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that it is the correct width for you. So it has to go in the case all the way in, but you enter in your height and your weight, and then it'll tell you what setting to put this on. You unclip the back and then you pull it apart, and you'll notice there are numbers along the back side here. It'll give you a number to pull it to. So for instance, I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. It told me go to number 5. So I went out to number 5 and I clicked these in, and that was supposed to be the correct width for my hips because this width right here matters. And you'll see these are the pivot points. These kind of go around your hips, and you'll notice the legs can move side to side. These arms can move up and down. This is kind of what it's doing while we're out there. It's pulling, I believe, to help you along on the trail. So your power button is right here on the right-hand side, and it's a tap and then hold to get it started. And you saw in the app that we did have 2 different modes, eco mode and hyper mode. And there is so much in the app that we can't possibly go over in this video. I'm not even sure I understand it all yet because I haven't had enough time with this to the point, but I'm going to dig into it and really find out more. So here on the legs, you have, again, straps on the leg parts. These are adjustable. One strap here, and it's a nice easy clip to do. I'm not sure how that works, but the clip goes inside. I've never seen one like that before, but you can adjust this strap here, and then the buckle obviously goes around your leg. You can also adjust the placement of these. You press buttons on the side, and this will go all the way up or all the way down, dependent on how tall you are, maybe how long your legs are. And the other thing I kind of didn't even notice till I was looking back at footage is that there's high-vis reflection areas all over this. So the belt has high-vis right here. The back of your legs have high-vis areas right there. And overall, this kind of like shiny aluminum is just going to make sure that people see you. And I know this is something that not everybody's familiar with. I'm not familiar with it yet, but it's an interesting category, outdoor tech, what it can do for us, what it can help us do, and how it can improve our lives as we experience the outdoors. Then when you're done with everything, you can simply slip it back into its case, restoring it to the normal width, tucking everything into its spot here. It's a little tricky to get used to, but once you figure out how it works, you can roll this front part up like this, follow the roto molding, and it does sit quite nicely, exactly the way it's supposed to. Close the lid and snap the sides, and you're ready to go. Well, I'll tell you one thing. At the beginning of 2026, I did not expect that we would be testing out outdoor exoskeletons, but here we are. This is the new reality, and there are a lot of tools that can help you get out there, go further, and have more fun while you do it. I hope you enjoyed today's video, because what this is about is getting everybody that wants to out there, enabling people to do more than they thought they could, and challenging ourselves to do something versus doing nothing.
And here's an insider's tip. Right now, Hypershell's spring sale is live, so you can get up to $300 off plus a free gift on select models, but the offer ends March 30th, 2026. So check out the link in the description.
I've got some more miles to put in on the trails today. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I'll see you in the next video.